Well, a lot of you are still buzzing about the NBA draft last night. In 2009, 6-time NBA All-Star Steph Curry was the Warriors' first pick. That worked out okay.
Nah, that's a dig. Now he lives
No, it
with...
did. It worked out really well for them.
We love you, Steph. Okay, and now he lives with a progressive eye disease that, if left untreated, would hurt his game. News Channel 6's Ashley Osborne talked to doctors at the Medical College of Georgia who are working on better treatments.
Steph Curry has an eye disease called keratoconus. Doctors know it has a genetic component, but exactly what goes wrong from one generation to the next is pretty unknown. So doctors at MCG are trying to figure it out.
Curry for three.
Steph Curry has won 3 championships and was so close to a 4th last week before the Warriors lost in Game 6. Curry is at the top of his game, so you'd never know he has an eye disease called keratoconus. First off, what is it?
So keratoconus is a progressive disease of the cornea, and the cornea is kind of the clear front shield of the eye.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Amy Estes describes how it affects the eyes.
That cornea is supposed to be like a perfect sphere or half of a basketball. But in keratoconus, the bonds between the cells are weak. And over time, instead of staying, in their perfect sphere shape, the cornea starts to pooch forward like the tip of a cone or the tip of a football.
How does that affect day-to-day life for those patients?
Sure. So vision can be significantly blurred over time. It's very significant because it typically affects young people, so late teens and early 20s. And these are people that are trying to continue with their schooling, have families, are in the workforce.
Geneticist Dr. Yutao Liu says often patients don't even realize they have keratoconus until after it's progressed to a bad place.
They don't really seek the help from an ophthalmologist. They just try to get a new pair of glasses. So what we do, we try to find new genes in the families to see what the genetics can play in this disease.
Dr. Liu just got a $2.1 million grant to find a genetic link that would allow doctors to catch keratoconus earlier.
So if we can determine which patients, are at higher risk of developing a more progressive disease, then it'll help us guide the therapy.
For people with keratoconus, their eye cells don't get the proper fuel. Why that leads to the disease is still a mystery that Dr. Liu is trying to solve to help people like Steph Curry in the future. In Augusta, Ashley Osborne, WJBF News Channel 6.